Hello everyone, today we're going to cover the latest updates for the developers and the administrators of TrueConf Server system, which is related to using of our API interfaces and a couple of new things we're going to cover today. My name is Lev, I'm a marketing director for TrueConf, and today my colleague Anton will assist us with a lot of demonstrations in connection with our API and other things. So let's start, and first of all, I'd like to introduce to you the new version of our API for the server, which is number 4, V4. The new version of our API is much more powerful. It is much closer to the capabilities of TrueConf Server control panel. So almost all the things you can do in the control panel of TrueConf Server in the web interface is now accessible using our API. The gap is so small you wouldn't notice it. We also decided that the documentation for our API for version 4 should be a separate product. That's why we no longer publish it as the thing which is automatically generated from the code. Instead, it is the separate web application with a lot of new features, which has more descriptions, more examples. It also has the player, so you can use the built-in API endpoint to query different API endpoints right through from the documentation. We also added support for the dark theme. We added support for the search. We totally redesigned the overall user experience, so it is very easy now to find through the methods, to search through the available attributes and the properties of every field and everything. So it is already available on our website. You can see the links below on the slide. Anton, can you please give us a demonstration of how does it look like, the new API v4 documentation? So here it is. So we have a long list of all available groups of methods. Just pause there for a moment. So all major things which used to be only available for the control panel is now available inside our API. So in general, API is the way how you can programmatically control our server using different applications, scripts, and some other tools for automation. So we can use API interface to do all the things you usually do using your mouse and keyboard from the control panel. If we go up a little bit, we can see that we can, for example, starting from this version number 4, we can set up different types of authentication, different privileges for different zones. We can set up Active Directory connection. We can set up single sign-on using the new version of API. So please go to the Kerberos, for example. Kerberos, yes. So we can set up single sign-on, and a lot of different things are now available, which wasn't available before in the version 3 of our TrueConf Server API. So two major changes: the new version of API, which covers almost all methods available from the control panel, and the new interface to the documentation of TrueConf Server API, which is more friendly, which has a lot of things. It also has the tool to test different endpoints. For example, we can use this documentation internally because it is now part of the product. So it is shipped through TrueConf Server version 5.5. So you can open documentation right from your control panel. And if you open the documentation from your control panel, you can query your own local installation TrueConf Server, your own instance of TrueConf Server right away from the documentation. So we significantly improve the debugging process for the developers of different application in connection with TrueConf Server. So let's find the key, API key. We don't recommend to use this global API key for production environments, only for testing. For production, we have different section where you can set up our application, so which has a lot of different scopes and privileges. But for testing of different methods, that's more than enough. So let's copy and paste this key and give a try. So we can query the list of users from our server. Now we have received from our test server the list of users using the interface which is available inside the documentation. So you can use inside your machine where TrueConf Server is installed, you can use documentation to receive and send JSON objects. For example, you can import a lot of users, so you can export a lot of users in a machine-readable format, JSON format. right from the documentation of our API, but it could be any other application or script. It's up to you, but that new interface significantly improves the overall user experience and the speed of the development, because all the things, all the fields, all the properties, all the descriptions, all the examples for different platforms are available on that page. For example, we can provide to you examples how to access a specific method for different applications like Curl or different programming languages. I don't know. Do you have a Clojure one? Clojure. Yeah, that's wonderful. if you still remember what Lisp is, so we have a version for that as well. Anyway, so the new documentation is very cool. The new API is amazing. It has a lot of new functions. Give it a try. So basically, you can control all your typical tasks you're doing from control panel using automation, using our API if you need one. So the next big thing is MCP server. It is not available yet. It's going to be part of our product. So we are going to ship MCP server along with API. So they will be interconnected. So basically all the things you can do with API should be available from MCP. So MCP is a complicated thing, but the idea is that API is used to control our server from different application and scripts. While MCP is another kind of interface, which is used not for programs, but for chat agents and AI. So we can use different chat interfaces to control our server. For example, we can create a conference on specific date with specific layout for specific participant and enable the recording, for example. In a single sentence, in a single very easy English sentence, which could be understood by AI and which could be converted in the list of different calls of different tools, which will create a conference for us, set up a layout, add participants, etc. Totally transparent for the user. So MCP is AI interface, while API is for programs. So I will give you an example. So let's have a look on the scan. So the idea is that we send a command to AI. It is not our LLM, it is yours LLM, your language model. It could be cloud one, local one, we don't care. The idea is that once MCP server is installed and configured, we can connect our agent. It could be LM Studio, it could be Claude, OpenCode, Qwen, whatever you are using. I expect that agents will be part of the operating system for mobile and desktop operating systems quite soon. So it could be any agent. So we just need to set up our MCP server. And after that, we need to tell our agent that TrueConf Server MCP is available. Basically, one URL, one link is enough. And after that, the agent will be able to query and search our MCP server for methods and instructions which could help to execute the task from the user message. So the idea is that we give the AI agent the instructions in a pure English language. And the AI agent breaks down that sentence into different calls of different tools available for TrueConf Server MCP server. It could be a single call, it could be multiple calls for different tools. Depending on the sentence, it could be quite a long sentence. So the idea is that instead of calling API methods, which are quite complicated, we need to provide all the required fields, we need to authenticate, we need to maintain token lifetime, we need to carefully read the response, etc., etc., etc. We just send a single English sentence to the AI and it do the calling on our behalf automatically. So MCP server is basically an interface to our API for AI agents. And those calls are described on this image. So if you pause our on-demand webinar and have a look on this image more carefully, you will see how it works. But let's wait a little bit, give it a pause, read through it. Okay, thank you. Let's move forward for the demo. So we have a LM Studio application available on our computer, and we have TrueConf Server MCP server connected to our LM Studio application. MCP server is a web server application. So basically, it will be available on GitHub. So once we download from GitHub TrueConf Server MCP server, we need to run this web server application. So if Anton, could you please go back to the terminal? So basically, this is the application. So we need to copy the folder and run the application from that folder, and it will start on the local host, the new web server, which will connect together TrueConf Server API and our AI agent. In this case, AI agent is LM Studio. So we connected LM Studio to our local MCP server, which is authenticated on TrueConf Server. Can we have a look on configuration of MCP server? So our TrueConf Server MCP server is quite powerful. In the control panel for MCP server. So if we open the control panel for MCP server, we will see, sorry for, we don't have an English language at the moment, it will be available later. We can authenticate it using OAuth application created in TrueConf Server admin panel. And once it will be authenticated, users of MCP server will be able to, just a moment, we need to provide permissions for our application. Yeah, once connected, the MCP server could be called by AI agents, and it will be acting on behalf of the user, which we use to authenticate for this OAuth application. So allow, please. So now we are connected successfully. So MCP server is running, authentication is successful, and now we can connect different AI agents like LM Studio, Cursor, Cloud Code, OpenCode, etc., OpenWebUI to our MCP server to allow our users to interact with API of TrueConf Server by means of chat sentences. So let's move forward to LM Studio. Please copy and paste the new token. And now we can create a new chat where we could tell the AI agent to do something. So the MCP server for TrueConf Server is connected, everything is fine. We do not want to populate the request to AI with all available methods. We use specific tools like search tool to allow AI to individually search for corresponding instrument, for corresponding tool on the side of our MCP server, which better fit the request of the user. For example, Anton is currently trying to tell the AI to create a new conference with the title webinar, and the very small local model, Gemma E4B, which is only 5 gigabytes in size, which is quite small. So this small model will now call tools. It decided to call the tool guide, which tells it about the available methods. After that, it decided to call search to find more specific tool for conference creation. In response, MCP server provided for AI the description of the conference created. And after that, we need to tell the model that we'd like to create a symmetric conference, and it should call the new method, which is called conference creation. Yes, we see that the new method was executed and the new conference was created. Can you please elaborate on this? Click here. So we see that we, actually, this is the magic. So the AI agent, could you please show us the request, the arguments? Yes. So we call the specific tool create conference with specific topic and etc. And in response, MCP server created a conference for us with a lot of details. So we can copy in the address of the conference, and we will see that that conference was successfully created and now is available from our server. And using this way, we could create conference, manage participants, manage invitations, manage layouts. Not all the things available on the API, but some basic things will be available in the first version. So please go back to the LM Studio. So the idea is that instead of writing programs, instead of writing scripts to interact with our API, we can send commands using plain English sentences to do whatever we want, and all the magic is done on the MCP server side. So now API is accessible by humans, not developers, with the help of TrueConf Server MCP. This is the beta solution, which will be available this summer on the GitHub, and later in the autumn it will become part of our product and will be shipped along with TrueConf Server. But so far, it is a standalone application. You have to download and install on your machine to make it available for your users. That was TrueConf Server MCP server. Amazing thing. We see a bright future for the different type of integrations with different AI engines. So what else? We also have a new version of our chatbot connector solution. Chatbot connector is basically an API for chatbots. So an API not for infrastructure management, not for conference management, authentication, etc., but for different interactions with chats and files. So chatbot connector allows us to create applications which send files, receive files, send messages, receive messages in channels, in group chats, etc. So let's have a look what we have new in our chatbot connector interface. First of all, we added support for voice messages. As for now, we can receive voice messages and download audio files without transcription. Transcription will be available later this year. It is also possible to send files like audio messages as well, but without the histogram. It will be available in our API later this year. Another new feature is the quoting, so we can quote a part of the messages using our chatbot connector interface. So chatbot application can specifically reply for part of the messages because messages could be quite large, especially when we're talking about AI agents. We added support for interactive buttons, which will be released with the release of TrueConf Server 8.6 version of application, which is quite soon. I hope it will happen in August. So this type of buttons is the very, very much requested feature by our users because instead of writing commands like /command or /help or /create or /something for chatbot application, we can display to the user the list of custom buttons. Basically, we call this custom keyboard, but the idea is that we can customize every button using color, using icons, and we can associate every button with specific command. For example, we can create interactive chatbot application with the support of buttons. To make this possible, we added support for finite state machine. That means that if you are using our own library for chatbot application creation, which is called TrueConf Python bot, which is quite popular, it is available on GitHub. We recommend to use only this library to create your chatbot application because it significantly simplifies the process of creation of chatbot application. So the idea is that our library has the full support for different multi-step interaction with chatbots. We call this FSM, finite state machine. So we can, for example, ask a user to fill up the form. What's your name? Where are you from? What is your task? Would you like us to do? And users can do this by simply replying to chatbot request in chat or selecting specific buttons, which we have seen before. It is available already in our library and inside our engine for chatbot applications. We also added support for middleware. It is the right way to attach specific task for processing of specific commands. When the bot receives a specific command, we can assign a specific middleware filter. It could be a separate application, part of code, whatever you prefer, which should be executed before or after of specific command. So we are not meddling with the code of the chatbot application. We are touching specific third-party parts of code to your commands. So you can change them separately without recreation of your chatbot application. We added new methods for formatting. So instead of using pure HTML or Markdown in chat messages, we created new classes to help you to format part of the text inside messages, and we make sure that this text will be properly displayed across all our desktop and mobile applications, because formatting is complicated, so it's better to use our classes for formatting to make sure that the messages will look clean and correctly displayed across all TrueConf applications. If you have a moment, please give us a high five, give us a star on GitHub. We really appreciate that, because Python TrueConf bot is the very nice library which significantly simplifies the process of creation of chatbot applications for TrueConf. It takes care about everything: authentication, token prolongation, how to see the difference between reply messages and forward messages, how to receive files, how to send files. Without this library, you need to properly handle very complicated chatbot connector IP interface. But instead, you can use this library, which very easy to use. In a few simple lines of Python code, you can create a new chatbot application. We will show it a little bit later. But that thing significantly improves the overall chatbot creation experience. And the usage of this library is also now possible with the help of AI. So for that, we created a new documentation, which is designed not for people, not for humans, but for AI. It is called LLMs.txt. It has two versions, the full version, which includes all the contents of all articles for chatbot creation for AI, but it also has the shorter version with only the titles of the materials. The idea behind that document is the following. So if you'd like to create a new chatbot application, you don't need to write it for yourself. You need to copy and paste this link to your favorable AI agent. It could be Claude Code, Open Code, Qwen Code, ChatGPT, Codex, whatever, Google Integrity, whatever you prefer. Just copy and paste this link and tell the AI agent what you'd like to do with TrueConf chatbot application. It is so super easy, and we already took care about all the smaller details, how to authenticate, how to avoid loops, how to properly distinguish messages between local server messages and federated remote server messages, how to attach files to your messages. A lot of things is described. And the AI agent can carefully read through these documents and create in a few moments. And it basically takes less than 1 minute. And new chatbot application for you, which has support for everything, all the basic things required, like authentication, etc. Can we give a demo for this, Anton? So let's start open code. New session will be open. We are using some local model called Qwen, and we're telling our AI agent to read through the documentation. And after that, we need to tell what kind of task our bot has to do, and write. Please write down the sample bot application and write sample bot application. We need to give our AI agent specific instruction, not application. And don't forget to move from plan to a build mode. Yes. So now we tell the open code agent to read through our documentation. AI agent will automatically populate the context with the contents of our documentation. It will fetch the part of the documentation which is required for him. He will carefully select the examples, the architecture, and all they need for successful creation of chatbot application. And now AI tell us that it has a solid understanding of the library. So no need to tell what to do. No need to copy and paste example. No need to copy and paste HTML pages with a lot of HTML garbage. Just a single link in a pure markdown, which has all the instructions for successful chatbot creation. And let's wait a little bit. And in a few moments, the local model, very small local model, it is hundreds of times less capable than cloud state-of-the-art models, but still it is enough for us to create a simple chatbot application totally offline using a single link which will have support for all TrueConf features. And we can use this to create all kind of automation integrations. So it is writing the bot PI, it is writing the application at the moment. So let's wait a little bit. Okay, so that was the idea behind the chatbot application creation. Let's move forward to our presentation. So now you know how to create chatbot application with TrueConf. Just copy and paste this link and tell the AI agent what to do. And the last thing we're going to cover is the autonomous AI agent channel plugins. So currently there are two most popular agents available on the market. It is not something you recommend to use because they're quite difficult to control. They could be very destructive, and you have to use them in a very, very isolated environment, like a separate network, separate virtual machine, container. Never use those things inside your local area network. Please consult for security recommendations for your information security team. But the idea, it is now possible to access OpenClaw and Hermes, two most popular automatic or autonomic agents, using our chat built into TrueConf application. So you can use TrueConf mobile and desktop applications to interact with the Hermes agent and OpenClaw agent. For that, we created two channel plugins for Hermes and OpenClaw, which is available on our GitHub account. So if you know how to handle those things, if you know how to control those things, they could be quite powerful and helpful to you. And the beauty of this approach is that you can use those AI agents with the help of TrueConf messaging totally offline on premises. So you can run LLM locally, you can run OpenClaw locally, you can run TrueConf Server locally. So you can receive the benefits of using autonomous agent like OpenClaw or Hermes inside your premises, inside your network, totally secure and independently from WhatsApp, Discord, Slack, or other platforms like Telegram. So we give you all the benefits of using OpenClaw in your private network. That's the idea. Because of the nature of those projects, you have to be very careful using them. We spent time to maintain the adapters and update them to make them available for you, to make sure they're compatible with the current version of those solutions. So that was the small presentation about TrueConf, latest TrueConf updates for developers. So we just covered together with you the new TrueConf Server API before. We covered the new TrueConf Server API documentation. We have covered TrueConf Server MCP server. We have covered TrueConf library for chatbot creation, which is called TrueConf Python bot, which we recommend you to use. We covered LLMs.txt, which significantly simplifies the creation of chatbot applications. And we have covered two new adapters for most popular AI agents like OpenClaw and Hermes. So a lot of updates, a lot of things we are sharing with you today. Give them a try. They are all available. And we believe the new AI era will be more comfortable to you with the help of our libraries. Anton, thank you for your time and demonstrations. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. And it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Bye-bye.